Good afternoon. This is a regular City Commission meeting for the City of Largo. Today is February 6, 2024. I'd like to call this meeting to order and ask if you have a cell phone, please turn it to silent or off so that we don't have any interruptions. We're going to start this evening's meeting with an invocation given by Pastor Pam Duvab from St. Paul United Methodist Church, and then if you could please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Oh God, we come before you with gratitude. We thank you for being a God of love who's with us now in this very room. We thank you for making each of us and every person we meet in your image with dignity and infinite worth. We thank you for the calling you have given every one of us to be good stewards of your creation and to love our neighbors as ourselves. I thank you tonight, God, for these your servants, our mayor, our city council, our city manager, city attorney, and city staff. I give thanks for the way of service they have chosen to take up their work on behalf of us all. We thank you for our first responders, especially those who are here tonight to join our police force and to be promoted, for those who work in our hospitals, teach in our schools, and all who work to make this place we call home such an amazing place to live. We pray that you would give us eyes to see how our lives are all connected and how our common good is upheld when we listen and respond to those most vulnerable among us. We pray for wisdom, for strength, for courage to do what is right and good for all who live, work, worship, and go to school in our city. We ask these things in the name of the God who creates, redeems, and empowers us for service. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor. We have a few ceremonial items on the agenda today. We'll start with team members of the quarter.
Good evening, Mayor and City Commission. This evening, we're here to celebrate our team members of the quarter, the fourth quarter of 2023. The Team Member of the Quarter program recognizes up to 4 team members quarterly for exemplifying, contributing to, and upholding the City of Largo's mission, vision, and values. A team manager was also chosen this quarter as well. The selection committee, comprised of team members representing all departments, chooses the winners of the Team Member of the Quarter as well as the Manager of the Quarter. So tonight I'm here to present you with those members who were chosen. So first I'd like to call up Todd McCarthy, firefighter EMT. So Todd was recognized for the values of integrity, passion, and creativity. On November 23rd, 2023, Todd was walking with his family when they saw a house on fire. Todd had his wife call 911, and he was able to get an elderly lady out of the house unharmed. The elderly lady was unaware that her house had caught fire, and Todd's quick reactions not only helped get her out of harm's way, but also the quick notification to the fire department helped minimize the damage that the home incurred. Todd has been with the City of Largo for about 15 years and has always been selfless and dedicated to helping others. Up on the screen, you'll see some of the damage that was caused to the citizen's home. So, Todd, congratulations. Todd, would you like a picture with your family before you sit down?
Well,
No, we can do that real quick. Come on. Come on. Come on, family. Todd is here with his wife and 2 beautiful children. That daughter of his looks just like him.
Come on, just take a picture.
Okay, congratulations, Todd. Okay, last call for Nate Doe. Nate Doe. Okay. Okay, so moving on to Michael DeLisandro, Office Assistant with Recreation, Parks, and Arts. Mike was recognized for his values of integrity, collaboration, passion, and creativity. Mike created and arranged our Ghost Hunter Lectures and the Florida Humanities Speaker Lecture Series. He created and arranged Christmas Craft Sale and the Spring Craft Sale set for March 2024. He volunteers every year to drive the golf cart during the holidays for the community center. He volunteers to work our nighttime parties and classes. He comes by the park on long holidays to check on the animals and lets our volunteers in so they can feed our birds. Congratulations, Mike. Next is Kevin Miller, Environmental Scientist in ES. So Kevin was recognized for the values of integrity and collaboration. Kevin Miller has only been working in environmental services for 1 year, but he has made tremendous contributions to the environmental control program during that time. He exhibits both passion and creativity, but most of all, Kevin exhibits integrity and collaboration. He's a strong team player and wants to ensure everyone around him succeeds. He has initiated training for other team members to help them learn new skills, and he frequently volunteers to perform inspections with his coworkers so he can learn what they do. Kevin makes sure every job is done correctly and plans ahead to ensure no deadlines are missed. He is very organized, which has inspired others around him to become better organized themselves. Kevin is a self-starter, and he frequently finds training to complete wherever he has free time. He is the Industrial Pre-Treatment Program Lead. Ooh, that's a mouthful. And he made it a priority to develop a good working relationship with each customer. This isn't always easy because many customers do not want to open up to us about what they do, but Kevin's good-natured and professional attitude worked. His customers contact him on a regular basis with questions and concerns, which he handles with integrity and professionalism. Kevin is willing to help out with any task and has been a tremendous help to his supervisor, which is one of the many reasons he has become an invaluable member of the environmental control program. All of the other team members are very fond of him. He makes them laugh, he offers them support, and he is a friend to them. His presence has helped the team become stronger. He exemplifies what the city wants in its employees. Thanks for everything you do, Kevin. Congratulations. And then last, but certainly not least, is our Team Manager of the Quarter, Ms. Jennifer Fawcett, Children and Program Manager in the Recreation, Parks, and Arts Department. Jennifer was recognized for her values of integrity and passion. Jennifer gives her work everything she has. Her kindness inspires others to do the same. She stepped in on numerous accounts to cover child care employee shifts. Usually a manager will find replacements for the child care team to fill in. However, she rolls up her sleeves and takes care of the coverage herself to ensure that the program she runs smoothly. There is no task she will not contribute towards to ensure the city shines. She volunteered countless hours this holiday season dressing up as Mrs. Claus. We need you next year for the city tours because Santa needs his wife back. And even her husband helped out. She always finds ways to shine and improve our quality of programming in the recreation department. She comes up with and recorded training videos for Workday that have such a soothing voice on them that helps make learning more relaxing. She will come to your desk and assist if you do not understand something and needs assistance. She is the glue that holds together one of our strongest revenue-making programs in the city. She needs to be celebrated because amazing women like her are not a dime a dozen. Congratulations, Jennifer. And then could we just get a group photo, please, real quick? Thank you.
Thank you and great work. Congratulations. We'll move on to some promotions and swearing in from the police department. Chief.
Good evening. Thank you again. It's always nice to have this forum to celebrate officers coming on and being promoted with the police department. Tonight we have 3 officers being sworn in. One officer is new and just beginning his journey with our department. The other 2 are 2 of our more senior officers, and they've been promoted and are being sworn into their new ranks. Both of these officers have been instrumental in keeping the agency moving forward in our commitment to serve. They've both been heavily involved in mental health and well-being of both our employees and the community members, as well as being actively involved with our SWAT team on both negotiations and the assault sides. You guys can step up. We practiced this, so we should be hopefully. We'll start with Jamil Jadala. Step up. Jamil's being sworn in this evening as a police officer with the Largo Police Department. Officer Jadala was raised in St. Petersburg, Florida, and graduated from Northeast High School. He joined the Army after graduation from high school and dedicated 7 years to active duty. Currently, Officer Jadala remains in the military as part of the Army Reserves. He looks forward to serving with the Largo Police Department and the City of Largo. In attendance this evening are his sister, Iman Scott, and nephew, Max Scott. Max will be assisting with his pinning. Congratulations, Officer Jadala. Next will be Alvin Soto. Alvin is being sworn in this evening as a new police sergeant. Sergeant Soto began his career with the Largo Police Department in August of 2002. He is currently in his 21st year with the city. Throughout his career, he has worked in many different capacities. In 2005, he was one of the original members of the POP team, the Problem-Oriented Policing Team. After leaving the POP team, he returned to patrol for a short stint before becoming the SRO at Largo Middle School. He remained at Largo Middle School until 2010, until he was injured in a SWAT competition. He was injured in SWAT competition in 2016. After recovering from his injury, he returned to patrol for a year, and in 2018, he assessed back into the POP team to become Largo's first mental health liaison officer, which was a pilot program that we brought to Pinellas County, and it's been hugely successful. Sergeant Soto developed a real passion for mental health and was the recipient of numerous Officer of the Year awards and accolades during his tenure as the mental health liaison. Sergeant Soto is the most tenured SWAT team member with 19 years on the team, 8 of those having been with as a SWAT police sniper. He is also a rappel master and a firearms instructor. He's on the peer support team, the CISM team, and currently serves on the board of HCA Hospital. Sergeant Soto is extremely grateful to his family, many who are in attendance this evening, for all their support and sacrifices over the years. His father, Alvin Soto Sr., formerly an Army Sergeant, will be assisting with the pinning. Congratulations, Sergeant Soto. Next up, Lieutenant Amanda Meisner. Lieutenant Meisner is Central Florida native and moved to Pinellas County as a young child. A graduate from St. Petersburg High School, she put her college education on hold to attend SEPSI Police Academy, where she was hired halfway through by the Largo Police Department in 2004. She has served as a patrol officer, a field training officer, before becoming a burglary detective in 2013. Shortly after, she became an economic crimes detective and continued in that role until she was promoted in 2017. Excuse me. As a sergeant for her first assignment was midnight shift patrol. Get promoted right to midnight shift. Congratulations. Then community services for 2 years, and then back to patrol and afternoon shift. For the last 2.5 years, she's been the sergeant of the Office of Professional Standards. While performing and working in several of these assignments, she was also the agency's mental health liaison and spent 11 years on the hostage negotiation team, serving as the team leader for 4 of those years. In 2020, Lieutenant Meisner graduated cum laude from the University of Florida with a BA in criminology and is currently working toward her master's degree in legal studies from St. Leo University. In attendance with Amanda are her husband Jason, son Jake, daughter Hayden, and her grandparents and cousins. Her son Jake will be assisting with her pinning. Lieutenant Amanda Meisner.
Raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Jamil Jadallo,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and protect
I will support and protect
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and of the state of Florida
and the state of Florida
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
domestic or foreign,
domestic or foreign,
and that I will bear true faith,
and that I will bear true faith,
loyalty, and allegiance
loyalty, and
to
allegiance
the same,
to the same,
that I am entitled to hold office
that I am entitled to hold
under
office
the Constitution,
under the Constitution,
that I will faithfully perform
that I will faithfully perform
all of the duties
all of the duties
of the office of, and state your office,
of the office of
in the city of Largo, upon which I'm about to enter. Chief, first thing you gotta do is tell them what office they're in.
Congratulations. So those that are doing the pinning can come up and pin, please. Carefully. No injuries. One more round of congratulations.
Go. Congratulations.
Next, we'll discuss a Black History Month proclamation for the month of February.
Whereas during Black History Month, the City of Largo recognizes and celebrates the contributions of Black and African American community members in Largo, Tampa Bay, and across the United States. And whereas as a result of their determination, intelligence, and creativity, these Americans have made valuable and lasting contributions to the City of Largo and our nation, including bringing innovative programs to local schools and community centers, supporting economic advancement and business success, and contributing to public policy and initiatives that support healthy communities. And whereas Black History Month is a time for all Americans to recognize the powerful and vibrant stories and teachings of those who helped build our nation, took a stance against prejudice to support lives of dignity and opportunity, advance the cause of civil rights, and continue to advance the ideals of freedom, equality, and justice for all. And whereas the City of Largo continues to work toward becoming a more inclusive community in which all individuals, past, present, and future, are respected and recognized for their contributions and aspirations for our community, the state, the country, and the world. Now therefore, I, Woody Brown, Mayor of the City of Largo, Florida, and on behalf of the City Commission, do hereby proclaim the month of February 2024 as Black History Month in the City of Largo, in recognition of the many contributions made by African American and Black community members throughout our nation, and with special recognition of this year's honoree, Largo High School football coach, educator, and community mentor, Marcus Pascal.
Good evening and happy Black History Month. This month we honor and recognize the important history, legacy, and culture of Black and African American communities. The city's outreach team is excited to support this year's Pinellas African American Heritage Celebration at the Florida Botanical Gardens as one of the local sponsors and community partner attendees. City team members will be present to share information about city services, job opportunities, and other programs, and Largo's Recreation Play Express will bring mobile recreation activities for families with kids to enjoy. The event is on Saturday, February 24th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. and will include several performances, artwork by local Pinellas County students, as well as local business, nonprofit, and restaurant vendors. This month, the Largo Public Library will also be featuring books on their front lobby display and online catalog for all ages, written by Black and African American authors and that highlight their stories and experiences. Community members can also enjoy traditional African folk dance, music, songs, and storytelling by the Kumba dancers and drummers later in the month on Tuesday, February 27th at 6:30 p.m. at the Largo Library. The Central Park Performing Arts Center is also showcasing the Zuzu African Acrobats this February with 3 performances on February 16th and 17th. Hailing from Tanzania, the Zuzu Acrobats celebrate the 2,000-year Bantu culture of East Africa. The performance includes drums, unicycles, juggling, balancing acts, and more. And the February 17th performance is part of CPAC's Family Time series. So after the matinee show, there will be activities for families to make their own instruments and join in a drum circle. You can find more information at largoarts.com. And each year, the City of Largo also recognizes an honoree to receive the proclamation. This year, I am honored to introduce Coach Marcus Pascal, who is the head football coach of Largo High School, grew up in the Largo and Greater Pinellas County community, went to Largo High School, and is well respected as an educator, NFL athlete, and perhaps most importantly, as a mentor to our local youth. So with that, I would like to invite Coach Pascal up to the podium to share his own experience as a local community leader.
All right, I'm not really a man of words, you know. I'm here being recognized for my actions, but I do have a few brief bullet points I want to say. First off, I would like to thank the Lord, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, for this journey that was placed on my heart at such a very young age as a young man growing up in the Ridgecrest community. Second, I would like to thank my parents, Anita Williams and Anthony Pascal, because from day one, they always kept me on the right path to be this role model and leader that I am today. Next, my amazing wife, Dominique, of 14 years. She's been the backbone and the ultimate support system of every move I've made in this Largo community. Next, my M&Ms, Miles, Mason, and Michaela, my kids. Special shout out to my daughter, Michaela. We're here recognizing me, what I bring to the table for the Largo community, but she's starring at Largo High School right now, and she just eclipsed her 1,000 points in her career at Largo High School as well. Next, I would like to thank the principals during my tenure, Dr. Finkbeiner and Ms. Staten, for giving me the opportunity to be a leader of young men of the Largo community at the high school and continue to live out my last childhood dream. Next, I would like to thank Mayor Woody Brown, all councilmen and councilwomen for giving me this opportunity tonight. There's been so many inspirational Black men from my Ridgecrest community that laid the foundation for me. My grandfather, Johnny Clark, Tasker Bill, James Feazell, Sam Ford, Joe Miller, the list can go on and on. I'm honored to accept this award. God put this life mission on my heart at a very young age, and I still remember my first football game ever. Couple streets up right behind Sable Palms, where I scored 3 touchdowns at 9 years old, and my career took off from there. I've always used my athletic ability to not only benefit me and my family, but try to at all times use it to benefit the Largo community. Whether it was the Pascal Free Youth Football Clinics and the neighborhood cleanups, or whether it was having college football head coaches, including former Alabama head coach Nick Saban, land helicopters on the Largo High School field, or hosting Cam Newton in a couple weeks for his 7-on-7 tournament, February 17th and 18th, right at Largo High School. At times, it's been tough, but anything worth having will definitely endure some trials and tribulations. I can remember 7 years ago when I was the only certified teacher, head coach in the county, not on campus with his team. The easy thing to do would have been walk away, but I made the decision to prove the naysayers wrong and the devil is a lie, and the rest is history. The last 2 years, we've won the most football games of any Pinellas County public school. In the words of Jay-Z, in life, keep showing up and working until they give you the accolades that you think you deserve. I'm truly grateful to be honored with such an amazing award and so much meaning behind it. As our slogan reads at my family medical clinic located in Tarpon Springs, by the name of Purposely Evolving, where change is a lifestyle. I want to be the change in our society, and I live by that every day. Check us out at purposelyevolving.org and be on the lookout for the next location right here in the Largo community, 2025. Thank you.
Next, we'll have citizens' comments. If you'd like to speak about something that's on the agenda outside of the consent docket, please wait until that item comes up. And if you are leaving now, please do so quietly.
Okay. We have one card tonight, Craig Murtha.
Family that is from the area, the nicest people, all of them. They're all his aunts and uncles or clients of hers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so they're just some of my favorite people. Clients, nice, treat me good.
He's probably coming in against the flow. So while Mr. Murtha is coming in, if I could get a motion to approve, as you can probably tell, Commissioner Gerard and Commissioner Johnson are joining us virtually because they were pulled away to some other obligations. And if I can get a motion to allow them to participate virtually, I'd appreciate it.
Move approval. Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Welcome, gentlemen. Thank you for being here. And I still don't see Mr. Murtha. All right, we're going to move on to approval of the agenda.
Move approval. Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Aye. Motion passes 6-0. Next is consideration of the minutes from the regular meeting of January 16th, 2024.
Move approval. Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 6-0. And Mr. Mirth, would you like to say something for citizens' comment?
Yes. Oh, am I late?
That's all right. That's all right. There was a flow going that way, and I know you were swimming upstream, so.
Yeah, you only get 2 minutes because you're late.
Okay. Several meetings ago, or a few meetings ago, I was here talking about parking and how the abundance of parking or the lack of parking changes behavior. And I talked about 4 different instances where people moved to cities that had very little parking, and they got rid of their cars because parking was so expensive, and they started using transit or walking. And then I was also looking like New York City. They have 56% usage in their public transit, and I think that Pinellas County is like 1% to 2%. And I think a big part of that is that in New York City, the parking costs between $250 and $600 a month. So I guess in Florida, we all have more of a mindset that, when we build housing, we build parking. And it's free parking, but it really isn't free, because I think that studies show that the cost of parking in an apartment complex is really about $300 a month, but it's included. But nobody really knows that is, it costs the landlord about $300 a month because of the cost of building that parking. Seems like it would be so much better if we had a world where parking was not included in the rent. Instead of a $2,000 a month apartment, you would have a $1,700 a month apartment and $300 for parking. And this way, if you wanted to save money or couldn't afford it, you'd save $300 a month. But how you make that work, I don't know. And I know you're really progressive about cutting back on parking, and some of the new developments, you really scaled that back. So, I'm preaching to the choir to a degree, but that's kind of good. I'm just here really to support the shrinking of parking and trying to build more walkable places and places with less parking. And maybe someday we can actually put a price on parking, and then I think we would get a better world, because you'd have less cars. Because parking is really a magnet for cars. The more parking you build, the more cars you'll have, and then the more cars you have, the more driving. So, and parking really is the enemy of mass transit, because if me personally, if I'm going to a place and there's plenty of parking, I'm going to drive my car. But if I'm going to a place where there's terrible parking, like on the beaches, and I know there's decent transit, because that trolley is really quick up and down the beach. It's just as fast as driving, and then you don't have to park once you get there. So if we could get, more of that would be great. And, I know we're also worried that we've lost representation with Pinellas County on the Transportation Board. We would get more transit here if we had less parking. And, if we had more people that, needed transit, we would naturally get it. So we can talk all we want, but until we create a demand for transit by reducing parking, we're not going to get the transit. So that's it. Thanks.
Thank you. Next, could I hear the consent docket? We've already approved the minutes on the agenda.
Item 6, authorization to purchase a John Deere 184G wheel loader for the Recreation Parks and Arts Department to replace loader 45-92-61. Oh, sorry. From Dobbs Equipment in the estimated amount of $87,841 in accordance with the Florida Sheriff's Association contract FSA 23-EQU21.0. Item 7, approval of the settlement of the lawsuit styled David Misterka versus City of Largo in the amount of $87,500. Item 8, approval of the public facility subrecipient agreement with High Point Community Pride Incorporated in the amount of $75,000 for improvements to High Point Neighborhood Family Center. Item 9, authorization to purchase 2 vehicles for the Special Operations Unit within the Police Department from Allen J. Fleet Sales in the estimated amount of $65,080 in accordance with contract number 5179-2024, City of Tallahassee, Florida. Item 10, approval of a water utility easement between Pinellas County and the City of Largo for new water service at Horizon West Bay. Item 11, acceptance of a permanent drainage and utility easement located on Pinellas County School Board property at 305 4th Avenue Southwest. Item 12, authorization for the city manager to enter into a joint project agreement between Pinellas County and the City of Largo for the relocation of county utilities at the county's expense during 127th Avenue North roadway and drainage improvement CIP project construction in an amount not to exceed $2 million. Item 13, request for authorization to spend an estimated annual amount of $55,000 over the remaining life of continuing services contract RFP number 22-P-762, citywide roofing preventative maintenance awarded to Advanced Roofing Incorporated on December 6, 2022.
You've heard the consent docket. I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve the consent docket without commission discussion and including staff background provided in the commission packets.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Next is item number 14.
Good evening, Mayor and Commission. This is the second reading of an ordinance amending the fees charged by the Recreation, Parks, and Arts Department. There's been no changes since the first reading.
Ordinance number 2024-10, an ordinance of the City of Largo, Florida, amending Section 10 of Ordinance number 2000-32 as amended to amend certain fees charged by the Recreation, Parks, and Arts Department, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
Thank you. Do we have any cards on this?
We have no cards.
Any questions from the commission?
I move to adopt ordinance number 2024-10 on second and final reading.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Thank you. Next is item number 15, ordinance number 2024-13 through 17.
Good evening. Tonight I'm presenting 5 residential property annexations for their second reading. The properties were approved during the first reading on January 16, 2024, and there have been no changes since. Pinellas County Board of County Commissioners and the Housing and Community Development Department were both notified on December 20, 2023, and no comments or objections have been received. The requirements of Chapter 171 of the Florida statutes have been met, including the public notice, which occurred on January 24th and January 31st. Staff is available for questions.
Ordinance number 2024-13, an ordinance of the City of Largo, Florida, annexing the within described tracts of land located at 7173 Darien Way, Pinellas County, Florida, and contiguous to the existing city limits of the City of Largo, Florida, with city land use designation of residential low, redefining the corporate boundary of the City of Largo to include said addition, according to the provisions of Chapter 171 Florida statutes, providing for severability and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Do we have any cards on any of these?
We do not.
Okay, thank you.
I move to adopt ordinance number 2024-13 on second and final reading.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Ordinance number 2024-14, an ordinance of the City of Largo, Florida, annexing the within described tracts of land located at 14988 Newport Road, Pinellas County, Florida, and contiguous to the existing city limits of the City of Largo, Florida, with city land use designation of residential low, redefining the corporate boundary of the City of Largo to include said addition, according to the provisions of Chapter 171 Florida statutes, providing for severability and providing for an effective date.
I move to adopt ordinance number 2024-14 on second and final reading.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 6-0.
Ordinance number 2024-15, an ordinance of the City of Largo, Florida, annexing the within described tracts of land located at 310 14th Avenue Southwest, Pinellas County, Florida, and contiguous to the existing city limits of the City of Largo, Florida, with city land use designation of residential low, redefining the corporate boundary of the City of Largo to include said addition, according to the provisions of Chapter 171 Florida statutes, providing for severability and providing for an effective date.
I move to adopt ordinance number 2024-15 on second and final reading.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Ordinance number 2024-16, an ordinance of the City of Largo, Florida, annexing the within described tract of land located at 1131 Gershwin Drive, Pinellas County, Florida, with city land use designation of residential low, redefining the corporate boundary of the City of Largo to include said addition, according to the provisions of the interlocal service boundary agreement with Pinellas County, governing the voluntary annexation of property within Type A enclaves, providing for severability and providing for an effective date.
I move to approve ordinance number 2024-16 on second and final reading.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Ordinance number 2024-17, an ordinance of the City of Largo, Florida, annexing the within described tracts of land located at 223 15th Avenue Southwest, Pinellas County, Florida, and contiguous to the existing city limits of the City of Largo, Florida, with city land use designation of residential low, redefining the corporate boundary of the City of Largo to include said addition according to the provisions of Chapter 171 Florida statutes, providing for severability and providing for an effective date.
I move to adopt ordinance number 2024-17 on second and final reading.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Passes 6-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is ordinance number 2024-23.
Great. Good evening. This is the second reading of ordinance 2024-23, updating the team member employment guidelines, and there's been no changes since first reading.
Ordinance number 2024-23, an ordinance of the City of Largo, Florida, revising the City of Largo team member employment guidelines, repealing all ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing an effective date.
Thank you. Do we have any cards on this?
We have no cards.
I move to adopt ordinance number 2024-23 on second and final reading.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Passes 6-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is item number 17.
Good evening, Mayor and Commission. This item is for award of scope and fee for design for roadway and drainage improvements for the 16th Street Northwest pavement group. That pavement group includes more than 16th Street Northwest. You can see on the map. It also includes 15th Street, Heritage Lane, Loretta Avenue, and Edna Avenue. Just wanted to briefly cover some of the design components. The design does call for evaluation of reconstruction or mill and resurface of all of the roads. We're also going to address some drainage problems, persistent drainage problems at 16th Street and Edna Avenue. The design will add sidewalk within the pavement group, so it advances the strategic goal of multimodal connectivity. But the reason I'm here, wanted to go back to a discussion we had at a work session 2 or 3 years ago, where you expressed an interest in a connection from Mellenbacher Road to Northwest Park, a sidewalk connection. The design includes piping the ditch on the east side of 16th Street Northwest so we can create that sidewalk connection. Staff is available for questions.
Thank you. Do we have any cards on this?
We have no cards.
Any questions from the commission?
I move to approve award and scope, or excuse me, I move to approve award of scope and fee to Land and Water Engineering Science, Inc. for final design of 16th Street Northwest Pavement Group roadway and drainage improvements, RFQ number 19-Q-666, in the amount of $667,911.85.
676.
Yeah, that one.
$676,911.85.
85 cents. Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you.
Next is resolution number 2389.
Mayor Commissioners, this is a resolution that would authorize the city to participate in a proposed lawsuit challenging the new statute that was adopted last year that requires elected municipal officials to file a Form 6 as opposed to a Form 1 financial reporting form. This proposed lawsuit is similar to the lawsuit that was filed by the same law firm that challenged the statute regarding or preempting municipalities from adopting gun regulations. You might remember that from a couple of years ago. So I bring forward this to you for your your consideration. If you want to participate, they're asking for a contribution of $10,000 towards their legal fees for work at the trial level. I did take a look at their proposed arguments that they intend to raise, which are set forth in the resolution that they had drafted. Quite honestly, in my opinion, they're not likely to be successful. I can certainly go through them in detail if you would like, but we've done some research and analysis, and I don't give the proposed arguments a great chance of success, but we wanted to present this to you to see if the commission was interested in participating in the lawsuit. If you are, then you should adopt the resolution. If you're not, then you should reject the resolution.
Thank you. Do we have any public input?
I have no cards on this item.
Any questions or comments from the commission? Commissioner Holmes.
It seems to me didn't they prevail on the gun one?
No, they lost.
Okay, so I'm trying to remember that case.
Yeah, it's the statute that allowed for substantial penalties against elected officials if a city adopted gun regulations that were considered to be preempted by the statute, and ultimately they lost that case.
Okay, do you know this firm? You ever dealt with them?
Yes.
History?
I haven't dealt with the specific lawyer that is supposedly going to be handling this lawsuit, but I have dealt with that law firm. Yes, they're a good firm. They're a local government based in South Florida.
Okay.
You good?
I move to approve resolution number 2389.
We've got another question,
Yep, thank you. I'm not in favor. I really wanted to, I didn't know this was going to be coming in the form of a resolution. I thought we were just going to have a discussion about it, but either way, I'm fine. I'm not in favor of us as a commission moving forward with any lawsuit challenging the requirement. I think that we had a lot of discussion about it last year when it was, when it was going through Tallahassee in the process. And a lot of the discussion that we had, and I think if anybody's paying attention to this now, obviously there's a lot of local elected officials throughout the state. I think the number's 100 now who have resigned because of this. But a lot of the comments from the average resident or average citizen are, really don't. They want to know about everything that there is, and for us to try to say that we should be held back from something that, frankly, every other elected official from the county level up is doing already, it's kind of hard for us to do. I just don't see a good argument in that. I don't see a way to go to the public and say we should be in a different class than all the rest of the officials. It is onerous. It's a lot more onerous than what we're doing now. I agree. And I'm sure there's a lot of elected officials, obviously, who don't want to have their finances put out to that level. But I have a hard time going to our residents and saying that, more information is bad. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Hulk.
I'm sorry, I saw two though. So my only comment on this is, when it first came out, I felt like it was a little invasive, or a lot invasive. And being with the League of Cities and meeting with so many commissioners throughout the state, my biggest problem with it is there are a lot of commissioners throughout the state that are not compensated monetarily for the job that they do. It is a true out-and-out service-oriented position. So my problem is for people who are extending their personal time to make sure that their cities are being run safely and to the best of their ability. That's where my biggest problem is as far as this Form 6 goes. I've met commissioners that get paid $0. There's commissioners here in Pinellas County that get paid bare minimum to have to put their entire financials out for the public when my mind is trying to figure out exactly why what we make, what we own is so important for people to know in order for us to do the job that we're doing as commissioners and council people. So, mine's really just a comment, and I have a hard time too with law firms that seek out class action lawsuits, because sometimes they're the only ones that truly benefit from it. So, like I said, this is more of a comment on where I stand and how I feel. But I do agree that, if any of us really had a problem with it, we would have resigned December 31st as well. So I have nothing to hide. So if somebody wants to see how poor I really am, it'll all be out there next year, or the end of this year. But so that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Johnson.
I just wanted to say I concur with Commissioner Robinson. I have a hard time not complying with this, or I have a hard time making a case that we shouldn't have to comply to the same disclosure that a state legislature might have to, or a county commissioner. So I'm not for jumping in on this lawsuit. So.
Yeah, thank you. And my only additional comments would be a couple. One, it's going to be fruitless. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. And I certainly agree with Commissioner Robinson. I don't think that we can say to our residents, you don't need to see our stuff. And by the way, you should pay for the lawsuit so that we don't have to do that. That doesn't make any sense to me. I won't support moving forward with this. I would say that although there are commissions in this county that are from smaller cities that make less than us, we don't get paid for the hours of time that we put into this to even a minimum wage. Because all of us up here put a lot of time in because of the same reason that the people that volunteer to do it, because we're not here for the money that we get as being a commissioner. It's kind of a stipend, or the mayor as well. But and the smaller cities have a challenge with this because they have a much smaller population to draw from, and many of those smaller cities are very affluent cities, and they're less likely to want to put that out there. And I think that's why we have a lot of challenges in this county for cities to fill seats. I had one more point I was going to make, but I forget. Oh, the other thing that I bring up to legislators all the time is they've found legislators in the state of Florida doing bad things, and they've been arrested and gone to jail, and never once was it disclosed in one of these Form 6s. Like, they don't write it down because they're kind of crooked, right? So the bad people aren't going to fill it out correctly anyways. That said, we're not going to get out of this. The state legislature is required to do it. County officials are, and city officials now are too. I don't think in 2 years anybody is going to be talking about it personally. Commissioner Holmes.
Just one more question, observation on the thing. If you take the city of Bel Air, for example, I think the city commission in Bel Air pays $100 a month.
I don't think they pay anything.
Huh?
I don't think they pay anything.
Yeah, it's a minimal. I mean, that's what Colleen told me. So you get a family like that where they're filing a joint tax return, and most of their holdings are joint holdings. So you think it's right for the citizens to know the holdings of not only a commissioner for the city of Bel Air, but one of the police officers, because that's going to be right in there also. So I mean, plus you've got beach communities out there where you've got the officials of the city. They don't get paid anything. So and all of a sudden, and that's where a lot of your resignations are coming from. They're just not going to do it. Well, anyway, that's my spiel.
Mr. Robinson.
And not to beat this up, and I think all of the points in support of, well, I guess not in support of this resolution, but all the points in support of why this bill shouldn't have been passed, I think those are all very valid. I think that we had a lot of these conversations last year in Tallahassee and throughout, with a lot of elected officials throughout the state. And there's some very, very valid points to be made. But again, I think the mayor made probably the best point of asking the residents to pay for a lawsuit that we're probably not going to win anyhow, and at the same time asking them, telling them we don't want them to see what our finances look like. So, thank you.
All right, there was a motion, but there wasn't a second, so I'll entertain a motion.
I move to disapprove resolution number 2389.
Second.
Second.
I have a motion in a couple seconds. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed?
No.
Motion passes 5-1. Next, we will move on to item number 19, ordinance number 2024-12.
Good evening, Mayor and Commission. This is a first reading of ordinance 2024-12 as it was amended by the Commission at the January 2nd, 2024 City Commission meeting. So this is indeed the same ordinance number you saw January 2nd, but if you do remember, the City Commission amended that ordinance to remove 2 appropriations as identified by staff. In discussion with the City Attorney after that meeting, because the ordinance has changed as a result of that dollar figure in the ordinance title changing, we're bringing this back as a first reading again, and if approved, it will come for second and final reading on February 20th. There have been no changes to the ordinance other than those 2 amendments discussed at the January 2nd meeting, and staff is available for any questions.
Ordinance number 2024-12, an ordinance of the City of Largo, Florida, amending the fiscal year 2024 budget adopted by resolution number 2374 by $2,800,400 for various personnel, operating, capital, and other needs as described in Exhibit A to this ordinance.
Thank you. Do we have any cards on this?
We have no cards.
Any questions?
I move to approve ordinance number 2024-12 on first reading and schedule a second reading and public hearing on February 20th, 2024.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Thank you. Next is item number 20, ordinance number 2024-18.
Good evening, City Commission. This item is ordinance number 2024-18, which is identical to ordinance number 2023-27 that was adopted June 20th, 2023. It was then repealed due to Senate Bill 250 regarding local governments within 100 miles of where Hurricane Ian and Nicole being hit landfall, being prohibited from adopting more restrictive codes. Staff is now bringing forth the same amendment with a different ordinance number, but we did prepare a presentation since it's been 7 months since the first one was adopted.
While you're getting that ready,
Sure.
So what happened is that when the special session at the end of last year, the legislature amended Senate Bill 250 so that now we're not prohibited from adopting more restrictive land use regulations. So just
Thank you. Yes.
wanted to give that, why are we back?
Right, understood.
Yes. Thank you. So this is just some prior actions that we wanted to share. June 20th was the date where the original amendment was adopted by City Commission. October 17th, 2023, that's when the city repealed 2023-27 due to the Senate bill. And just as Attorney Zimmett had stated, House Bill 1C revised the language so that 250 no longer applies to Pinellas County. So just some background. This was the Largo Tri-City Special Area Plan was adopted in December 15th, 2020. And the purpose of the special area plan was really to concentrate development along the primary corridors and to encourage redevelopment and infill development, mixed uses, and improve transit. Some of the different components of that amendment included building form and placement, public realm and connectivity, parking regulation, open and civic space, and auto-oriented and other special use restrictions. And this is just a map showing the overall Largo Tri-City Special Area Plan. It includes both the multimodal corridor as well as the activity center that is focused right around US 19 and East Bay Roosevelt. So the current existing city standards, after that repeal of the original ordinance, today require that two different buffer widths for adjacent uses with residential density, and that's in our buffer table, as well as an additional, and this is in the Largo Tri-Cities Special Area Plan, an additional 5-foot setback added to the landscape buffer for every story above the second. We also require a 10-foot facade step back commencing above the 4th floor. And this is just an example today, example site as well, but of what a 4-story building could build to on a somewhat constrained site. So as you can see, it's got a 25 feet from the property line on the north, south, west, and then on the east, there's a 15-foot from property line on this example property. So the proposed CDC standards, which haven't changed from the original ordinance that was adopted, would have 3 different buffer widths for adjacent uses, and that's to really encourage the distance and the buffering between higher intensity development, as well as a 50-foot setback being added to the landscape buffer for every story above the second when adjacent to very low residential, which is 1 unit per acre or less. There's a 20-foot setback added to the landscape buffer for every story above the second for low residential, which is 2.5 to 10 units an acre, and then a 10-foot facade step back commencing above the 3rd floor. So that went from above the 4th to the 3rd. And this is just an example site where you can see this site is still constrained based on its flag lot shape, but it really pushes the development away from the low density residential. On this example, you have, based on the standards, you would actually have 130 feet from the property line based on a 4th-story building, and 55 feet on the north and south sides if this were to develop as a 4-story building. These are all the sites. Might be difficult to see, but you could see little black dots on all of the properties that would be impacted by this ordinance if it were to be adopted tonight. I apologize, adopted at the second meeting. So the next steps for this would be for it to be scheduled for a second reading and public hearing on March 5th, if this were to move forward. And staff recommends approval of ordinance 2024-18 to revise landscape buffer types by use, location, and development standards for the Largo Tri-City Activity Center and multimodal corridor overlays. Staff's available for any questions. Thank you.
Ordinance number 2024-18, an ordinance of the City of Largo, Florida, amending the City of Largo Comprehensive Development Code by amending subsection 7.2.6.d1c, 7.4.5d1c, and 10.5.2.c2a, Figure 7-10 and Table 10-4, revising development standards and landscape buffer types by use and location for the Largo Tri-City Activity Center and Largo Tri-City Multimodal Corridor overlay in order to better accomplish compatibility with adjacent uses, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Do we have any cards on this?
I have 3 cards. First is John Larkin.
Good evening, Commissioners, Mr. Mayor. Once again, I thank you. We're back here again getting this thing, trying to get pushed through as we did last June, so appreciate that. One thing we could maybe take into consideration, I don't know if this buys us more time before that area is developed between US 19 and Allen's Creek neighborhood. But in that area, you still have the density of 25 units per acre directly abutting on the same property line as the Kent Place neighborhood at, in general, 0.25 units per acre, which is one of your lowest, abutting one of your highest density in the city. Just a comment, I thank staff for doing a good job of creating this. It was a very creative solution that we're in favor of, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker is William Elmhurst.
Thank you very much. William Elmhurst, 2424 Kent Place. And my property is right on that line, which is what was described here. So the particular interest, of course, we have because of the density and the effect it would have on our property. Very, very much interested in that, and appreciate the planning that has gone together to put that in for the property to help us with this density issue. And just want to emphasize the fact is that the Kent Place area is not gated in as much as a lot of your low-density properties are gated to where only the people who live there can come into that property. In our particular community, it's open, and there are people outside of our community that come in and use it like a park. And they jog, they run, they use strollers, they use even wheelchairs to come through. Their bicycles will use that property. And so we're very interested in keeping the property in such a way that preserves the atmosphere and the pleasantness of the property, particularly for wildlife and for the use of the properties for the convenience of exercise and just general enjoyment of the property. And we appreciate that taking the time to, the staff has taken the time to provide this extra buffer for us. And so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Margaret Checkelard.
I'm going to defer to the gentleman who's been eloquent, so thank you.
Thank you.
That's all the cards.
Any questions from the commission? I had a question before we do a motion. So for a 4-story building, could they have a 3-story that, is it just for the 4-story, or could you have a 3-story building that then tapers back to a 4-story building, just curiosity's sake?
Oh, in terms of the step back?
Right, so you know, the 4th floor adds an additional 50 feet from a very low density property. Could you have a 2-story building that eventually, when it's far enough away from that property line, goes up to 2-story? Or would that be looked at a 4-story building and that 2-story part would have to be all the way back? You follow me? Nope. You can get me the answer later.
I think
Sorry.
correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Mayor, but if we're talking about the setback, the additional setback in addition to the buffer would commence after the 2nd story, not the 3rd story. So if we have a 3-story building, that would also require from a very low density property to get only 50 feet in addition to the required buffer. Does that answer your question, or maybe I misunderstood?
So if you're building something higher than the minimum, what's the minimum buffer on that property for a towards the very low density?
For the very low density property, it would be a 30-foot buffer.
30-foot buffer?
Yes, sir.
So at the 3rd floor, it triggers an additional 50 foot. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So 80 feet.
It would be 80 feet, yes.
Yeah, and then for a 4-story building, it's 130 feet like the diagram.
Yes.
So can somebody build a 3-story building that starts 80 feet from the property line and then has out towards US 19 has 4 stories? And that fourth floor doesn't start until...
I think I understand what you're saying. So at any point in the building, because in addition to the setback requirement, we do have that step back requirement as well. So even if the building itself did, as you say, step back towards the US 19 side, because at the end of the day, it is still a 4-story building, it would be required to adhere to the setback standards outlined in the ordinance.
I just wanted some clarification on that. Thank you. Commissioner Robbins.
Thank you. I just wanted to say, and I stated this when we originally talked about this before 250, you know, I think that when we talk about our, when we talk about our activity centers and these types of things, you know, we purposely put these in place for the you know, to incentivize density. And I think by, you know, doing this again and going back to, you know, pushing it back, and I think we're stepping back away from that. I understand, you know, where the legislation came from and you know, kind of where we're at and why we're here. You know, I feel like for the most part, we're legislating for one piece of property, which again, I'm not in favor of that either. I think, so I don't, you know, I can't be in supportive of this, just because, again, I want to see the density in the areas that we are trying to push density towards. And I think by doing this, we're kind of drawing back from the original, what we originally were trying to do in these areas. So that's all I've got to say. Thank you.
Thank you, and I agree it makes it more difficult in some instances. I'm curious how many very low density adjacent properties there are. Is it just the Allens Creek neighborhood, or are there others that would fit that category?
Allens Creek is actually the example that we had shown on the screen was a property just adjacent to Allens Creek, because that is the lowest density that we have. And so it's
so most of those black dots that are on properties are up against low density, which would be, remind me, that'd be like a 50-foot buffer.
Yeah, they have it's a tiered buffer. 1 second. Okay, I'm gonna pull back up. I'm going to pull back up this slide.
Wireless.
Let's go back. Okay, so a lot of the properties with the dots are actually going to have the 20-foot setback added versus the 50-foot. The 50-foot is very aggressive, but that is where when it's adjacent to that very low, which is 1 unit per acre or less. Allens Creek, Kent Place does meet that. So this property in this specific example is actually abutting the Allens Creek neighborhood. And we just ran this as a model to kind of better understand how a site could develop, if it could develop with these additional setbacks and buffer requirements. I do want to caveat that parking can actually be placed within a setback, but not within a buffer. So these are pretty large setbacks, but they can still utilize that property for drive aisle parking, so it kind of encourages the buildings to come closer to US 19.
So would they be able to build a 1-story garage that's not attached to the 4-story building within the setback of the 4-story building and, you know, have a 1-story type setback? Is that possible?
The setback is going to be determined by the closest structure. So, so in other words, if they were to do a 1-story building, let's say on the west side, they could do a 1-story building, but then that's what the setback is going to actually be determined by that first building. So they could, in other words, have liner buildings around the 4-story building.
So if I understood you, you could have the setback for a under 2-story building. So this, if let's say this was an apartment, they could have 1-story garages for their residents on the west side, inside that extended setback for the 4-story building, but they'd be required to have, you know, whatever the 1-story building.
It would have, it would have a different setback based on the building height
which
closest
is
to.
reasonable. I think it's, and I certainly understand and frankly agree with a lot of what Commissioner Robinson said. We plan to have higher density here, but I'm also sympathetic to not just this neighborhood, but other low density neighborhoods and understand the impact of higher density. I think it's a balancing act that we do up here all the time. I will ask this just because, we're talking about density in this area. This is one of our activity centers that has some low-lying areas. And we've recently talked about sustainability and whether or not it makes a whole lot of sense to incentivize density in evacuation zones, for example. Have we overlaid that map with this Tri-City plan to look at whether in the future, we might want to pull back some of those incentives in areas that, and I expect that, people are building to a much higher level than they were back in the day, but if it's in an evacuation zone, folks still have to evacuate. So building residential in evacuation zones at a much higher density than we did before, I don't know if that makes a lot of sense. Have we looked at that?
We have looked at the coastal high hazard area and the special flood hazard areas on the map, and what those do is that's going to restrict the density and intensity regardless. In terms of the evacuation zone, do you want to speak to that a little bit?
Sure. So like Alicia said, we do have things baked into our code that overlay the coastal high hazard area and special flood hazard area over the entire city, not just the Tri-City. And regardless of what kind of incentives are available, hypothetically, if we're talking, even if a vacant piece of land, for example, is in the Tri-City at the highest density we afford, the code puts a cap on the amount of density that can go into that land use. But to answer your question directly, we have not directly looked at evacuation zones in terms of density in the Tri-City.
Right. I may on my own compare those maps to evacuation zones, but that's a discussion for another time. Thank you. Commissioner Gerard has a hand up. Thank you.
Thank you. Alicia, can you tell me, as I don't recall, are there any building height restrictions in the Tri-City special area?
Yes, there are. And so we do have some building height restrictions, and the way it's structured currently is that it's based on the underlying land use category. I'm trying to see if I could pull that information real quickly. Let's see. Sorry. Oh, I don't think it's in this packet. But how it works is we definitely have, within the special area plan and the CDC, the height restrictions are actually based on the underlying land use categories. So as a property becomes more intense and more dense, let's say like a CG property, you could actually develop it up to eight levels, from my recollection. But then as it tiers down, which this example property actually does that, as it tiers to a less dense and intense future land use on the map, the allowable height goes down. So in this case, I believe it was residential low is the category of that example property, or is it it's low medium, residential low medium, and I believe the highest on that particular portion of the site is actually 4 stories.
Okay, and one other question, quickly. So we were talking about a 1-story parking building and its positioning in the setback, but what if it wasn't a building? What if it was just covered parking? Does that make any difference at all?
The setback is for vertical structures, and then what we would probably evaluate is the structures, if it's a vertical structure, whether or not it could be considered an accessory structure. But if it was just covered parking, we would count that towards the setback requirement for this site.
Okay, thank you. And I also just want to concur with Commissioner Robinson that it's awkward for me to legislate based on one example when we're actually legislating for an entire area, especially an area that we worked on for so long to develop, to encourage development and density along transit corridors and to make it easier for people to get to work and back. I understand the reasoning. I empathize with the folks here, but it kind of sticks in my craw to do this. But anyhow, thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other questions?
I move to approve ordinance number 2024-18 on first reading and schedule a second reading and public hearing on March 5, 2024.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
I have a motion.
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. Could you poll the board, please?
Commissioner Holmes?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Gerard?
No.
Mayor Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner Robinson?
No.
Commissioner Hulk?
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Motion carries 4-2.
Thank you. Thanks
Thank
for your
you.
work on this as well. Next is ordinance number 2024-08.
Good evening, Mayor and Commission. The item before you is we're asking for approval for a cell tower site agreement between Largo and TVT2 LLC. The item was brought to you on January 2nd, and we had some good discussions, and we had a couple questions that I could not answer at the time. And the mayor asked a really good question. I'm really glad he asked the question, because when we went back and looked at the land designation, we had actually moved it into the land preservation. Initially, when we were looking at it and the locations, we were designated as recreation open space, which allows a cell tower. But as we're trying to find the best location with the least impact to people visiting the park, we actually moved a little farther west on Walsingham, close to Walsingham, but still in the park, and it moved into land preservation. So with that issue, we want to move it back to the east a little bit, 600 feet or so. It would still be on near Walsingham and still in the park. It's just moving it a little bit closer towards the park entrance. Initially, it's not the best spot. I'll be honest with you, we thought we had the best spot. However, Parks staff looked into it and they started doing a little research and kind of going through the park. And I think we can leverage this to get rid of some invasive species. We found an area where there's some invasive species, and by developing that little cell tower there, we'll be able to remove those items. So because of the fact that we are moving it 600 feet or so, it's a substantive change, so we're coming back for our first reading. I am going to mention too, I think Commissioner Smith asked about the birds. And that was a second question, and I used that opportunity to talk with the developer to just kind of ask what's the impact to birds, because he was adamant he would like to know. And I was told that they have to do a fish and wildlife study. It's required, and both the federal and state level will have to sign off on the approval of a cell tower. He said one of the biggest components, biggest factors to birds is a lot of times we get ospreys nesting on the cell towers. And if the cell tower has to have repairs or maintenance or anything like that, it could create a problem with the ospreys. They have devices that go across the horizontal components of it to prevent nesting. Yeah, I just wanted to just those, mention those facts that they will have to have a fish and wildlife study. Staff is here available to answer any questions.
Ordinance number 2024-08, an ordinance of the City of Largo, Florida, approving a cell tower site agreement with TVT2 LLC and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Do we have any cards on this?
We have one card, Craig Murtha.
Hello, Craig Murtha. Several months ago, I was watching a county meeting where somebody wanted to put a cell phone tower at a church on Oakhurst Road, just about 3 blocks south of Walsingham. And all of the neighbors came out fighting it. I guess they must have been notified, because there was a big uproar because they made a really good case that it would lower property values. And I read today that it could lower property values between 2% and 7%, and depending on how close you are or whether you could see it. And I think this cell tower is going to be maybe 130 feet or something. Correct me if I'm wrong. Somewhere in that neighborhood. I think they can go as much as 150 feet. But that concerns me. I have property within 900 feet of here where I was going to actually build a house and move outside of the city limits of Largo, which might get me out of your hair a little bit. But probably won't build that house there now if you build this cell phone tower there. Probably stay in Largo, because right now I live within walking distance of City Hall, so maybe a little motivation to not build that tower there. You could get rid of me. But yeah, 900 feet is too close to where I'm not going to build a house there. And studies show that somewhere between 70 and 90% of people don't want to live near a cell phone tower. So if you think about this $36,000 a year that you're going to get, but think about all of the real estate that you have around there, especially to the north of the tower, that may go down in value as those properties turn and new people come to buy. Are they going to spend as much on those properties, and will you get the same tax revenue? So I think that's going to come off. And also, you think about that location. That's a nature park. That place is a little gem, and nobody seems to know, because I went over to the park today, and I asked people, and people that work at the park don't know, people at the park didn't know, people in the neighborhood don't know. But by the next meeting, more people will know. And yeah, the $36,000 a year, I wouldn't even consider that. You could save way more than that just by fixing a lot of the tripping hazards. I mean, just between the front door and the parking lot, there's many tripping hazards in that in the walkway there. And I see, in cities all the time, I see all these lawsuits coming up in the agendas. You never see what it is because I guess they have some special privacy by law. But there's so many places where you could save 36. I've ran through a list of wastes before here. I don't have time to run through them again tonight. Even building, if you're still building that thing in the middle of City Hall, whatever it is, I don't know what we're calling it yet, but that could be an attractive nuisance and a tripping hazard also. And it's also going to be a high maintenance thing. So yeah, 36,000 is nothing. I wouldn't even be looking at that. Think about property values and diminishing of the experience in the park.
Thank you. Any questions from the commission? I had a question that's come up a couple times. How tall are we talking about?
Yep, they said they could go up, when they were talking about it, they said about 150 feet on initial contact, but they're talking about 120, 130 feet. I will mention that that the fact that our City Comprehensive Development Code is only going to allow it to go up to 90 feet if you're putting on one user. I believe it's 140 feet with 2 users, or up to 190 feet with 3 users. But at this time, they're saying they're looking at 120 to 130 feet.
All right, Commissioner Holmes.
I asked this question before, and I'm going to ask it again. Why didn't we look at putting it in Bonner Park?
I think I'm trying to remember, Phil, do you remember?
I mean, it wouldn't, the curvature of the earth wouldn't affect the signal. That's too close, but Bonner Park is far more isolated. Matter of fact, I dare say most people don't even know what Bonner Park is.
So when the company was looking at locations, the McGow end was their #1 choice. I did suggest Bonner Park to them, but there's more actual wetlands in Bonner than there is in McGow. And as you get farther away from the water and closer to Walsingham, you get away from the actual wetlands. And there's actually more houses right up around Bonner than there is on that side of McGow. So there were two things. The wetlands at Bonner was a factor, because we thought the best location would be where that old Paragon building is, way in the corner.
Yeah.
But there's a house right there, and there's another neighborhood right there too. And the cell phone company said, we don't like that as much as the other one, but we tried to present that to them. But we did come up with.
In the city of Largo, you can't get away from houses. I mean, they're everywhere.
Right. No,
Well, it's not my decision, they're renting from us, so, thank you.
Thank you. There were some questions I saw today about the ability of us to require some type of camouflage on the tower. I know there's towers in some cities that look like, I hate to say they look like trees, but they try to make them look like trees. But they try to make it, you know, a little more visually appealing. Is there a possibility to require that type of thing?
They said they would work with us on the design. When they initially proposed the idea, they even talked about, like in the parking lot, they could do as a flagpole, they can do trees, they get very creative. They definitely would allow us to put input on how the cell tower looks.
All right. Commissioner Robinson.
Thank you. I was actually going to ask that same question, and I would say if that is not in this contract, if it doesn't require them to do some sort of camouflaging it, then I would not be in support of it. So I don't see that it's required in there now, and you know, the fact that they say they will work with us, I'm not saying that they won't, but it doesn't, you know, the assurance of it's written in the contract saying, yes, they will attempt to camouflage it and that whatever that attempt is approved by staff. That's, you know, I would, at the very minimum, I think there's some other probably very valid concerns with putting it where it is. I do understand, though, you know, from the information that we've been told here that, you know, cell service is pretty poor in that area. Obviously, everybody uses cell phones regularly. I think probably, you know, 90% of the people who walk around the face of the earth have a cell phone on them. So I can definitely understand wanting to be able to improve that service. But I really have a concern with it, you know, us putting this in a park where it's not, if it's just going to be the typical cell phone tower. Thank you.
Thank you. I concur. Any other comments or questions? Vice Mayor Gerard.
Thank you, Mayor. Can you tell me what the distance is to the closest residential properties from this proposed site?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Can you give me a ballpark?
I would say it'd be the house right next to the Smith Realty or the apartments right there.
Yeah.
On 146. Maybe 1,000 feet.
It should be in the map there. There's a key in the map on page 116.
All right. I also saw some comments from some residents who were very concerned about that, and I can understand their concern. I have to agree that that some sort of camouflage would be preferable to no camouflage at all. However, I've seen cell towers camouflaged as trees, and they were the tallest damn trees I've ever seen in my life. You know, they just stuck out. But anything that we can do to you know, make it not as intrusive as it would be otherwise. Is it possible, because this has to come back for, is this the second reading?
First reading.
First reading.
First reading, that's what I thought, because I know there have been discussions. When it comes back for the second reading, can, between now and then, without, you know, without any undue delays, can we see some sort of requirement to have a camouflage of some sort to enhance the appearance of this?
Commissioner, we could propose some additional language to the option and land lease agreement to require camouflaging of the pole. We'll just, whether it delays is really kind of depending upon the response that we get from the cell tower company.
I'd like to see it. I don't know how the rest of the commission feels, but I'd like to see it. And I agree with Commissioner Robinson that, you know, I'm sure these are very honorable people, but to rely on just, well, we'll work with you, you know, it doesn't satisfy me. So, but thank you very much.
Thank you. Commissioner Holt.
So I agree with Vice Mayor Gerard and Commissioner Robinson, I would want to see the camouflage more enforced or a stronger option. I do have a hard time putting a cell phone tower in one of our most popular nature parks, even if it's all the way on one edge. I just feel like there's got to be other areas that this can go besides a park. I personally, I was trying to ride around even and find a cell tower because I don't even know if I really know what they all look like, but maybe they're camouflage, so I couldn't find them. But anyway, I really, every time I read this, it was just like, okay, nature park, cell phone tower. It just doesn't, in my mind, go together. If we can come up with a camouflage, the tree idea doesn't really fit for me because, as Commissioner Vice Mayor Gerard said, it would be a really big tree. I can see more along the lines of a flagpole. The tree idea might be more attractive to some of the birds in that area, and so I don't feel like that's a good option. But so right now, I think I have a hard time supporting this as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, at the end of the day, it's a nature park, right? And we didn't just, we didn't go out seeking for things that we could stick in our nature park. They came to us saying, hey, we're looking for a place to put our tower. We're in the driver's seat here, and I think that if this came with a sketch of what it's proposed to look like, I'd be much more likely to strongly consider it, because right now, I sat underneath a cell tower over the weekend in a restaurant, and there was, I think, 3 osprey nests on it, and it was way farther away from the water than McGow Nature Park is. So, I mean, my preference would be that we say, come back with what you want to do, like a real sketch of what you want it to look like, whether it's and we would like it to be not something that's going to create a nesting issue for birds, so that you're going to have to not be able to maintain it or whatever. And maybe a flagpole is what the answer is, but I'm not sure. That's my concern, because just kind of carte blanche, yeah, you can have this 500 square feet to put actually it's a little more than that, I think. The next one's 500. To put a cell tower, that's an issue for me in a nature park that we have. Commissioner Robinson.
Thank you. I heard the mention of an invasive species, and that was an incentive to, allow this land to be used as a cell phone tower. What is the invasive species? Is it Brazilian pepper?
Yeah.
Why don't we just go remove it?
I mean, because Brazilian pepper, it's...
Well, I know. I mean, it's not, yeah, obviously, that's a lot easier than it sounds. But I mean, just looking at some pictures of that side along Walsingham, which is where this is supposed to go, that's all Brazilian pepper along that side of the road. So, yeah, I think, I don't know that that's an incentive for me.
Yeah, it was not an incentive as much as it was more of a residual effect of moving it.
Okay, understood.
Yeah.
Understood. Yeah. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Holmes.
All right, let me get this straight. We've got one major issue on this thing. That is the camouflage of the tower, correct? Is that it?
And a cell tower in our nature preserve is an issue for me. But
Okay, no, I want to hit this thing because I'm going to make a motion to postpone voting on this thing. But I'm trying to figure out what all do we want to find out, or do you just want to vote it down and be done with it? I mean, the money involved in this thing is almost a rounding error considering the city's budget.
I mean, I think it is possible that they could present a product that I would be comfortable with, but personally, anyways. But that's not what I see in this agreement. What I see in this agreement is authorization to put a cell tower. So that's what
that's what I'm saying. What all? I mean, I'm all in favor of having them come back with more detail on this thing. Either that or just vote it down. So I mean, if you want a motion to postpone this until XYZ is brought back to us.
Yeah, I think the main issue for me, well, yeah, I think that, going along with the mayor here is seeing some sort of detail as to what their proposal is, what what their tower is proposed to look like. So if we could come back with some of that detail, I might be more inclined to support it. As of right now, I don't think I can.
Would it be a proposal, though, or a guarantee? I mean, we want to know that what they tell us.
Well, their
that-
proposal, we would be
Right.
approving their proposal.
Right. But
It'd be the contractual agreement.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, depending upon what they propose, we would either, if they agree to specifically what they propose, we could make that depiction a part of the agreement, or we could come up with language that describes or puts restrictions on what they're going to actually construct.
What's the exact language then, on a motion?
Oh, for a motion, if you want to move to continue this item, I don't know, how much time, Jared, should we continue it for a month?
They're pretty responsive. I can get back to them, but again, they have a legal team as well, so they would probably, I think, yeah, a month would probably be reasonable.
So I think that's March 5th, is that right? 6th?
5th is the first meeting in March.
March 7th?
5th.
5th.
Fifth.
Yeah, so I was right the first. So, yeah, I would make a motion to continue this item until the March 5th
Okay.
commission meeting.
Before we hear this motion, I go back to that they're approaching us for the cell tower in order to improve service to that area, which apparently is spotty. I don't know how spotty, but they want to put a tower there on space that they will be leasing. We understand that too, but they want to improve service there. Is it possible, because we do have a second reading coming up, if we approve it and maybe even amend it, the approval to require such language, and then come back for the second reading? And if the language is acceptable, then we can approve it then and save these folks a month?
I mean, we could do that. A change like that would not be a substance change that would require us to go back to first reading.
It would or would not require us to go back to first
I
reading?
would not. I mean, obviously, I don't see the language, but what I envision wouldn't require us, it wouldn't be considered a substance change of the substantial purpose of the ordinance, so you wouldn't have to come back for a first reading.
So we can stay on the schedule now that I'm sure time is money for these folks, and I'm sure they want to get started, and I want to do the best for everybody involved, so if they can come up with language that we find acceptable as far as making the tower as facetiously as attractive as possible, and we're satisfied with it, we can approve it on second reading. And if not, then we can deny it, and maybe they come back for a second shot on goal with a better language.
Thank you. Commissioner Robinson.
Thank you. Jared, do you think we could maybe also get some data, and I mean this in a very layman's terms because I have no idea what cell phone data would look like as far as what reception is in that area as opposed to the surrounding areas, just so we can have some information as to what that looks like. And again, I don't want to act like I'm some sort of software engineer, or do I play one on TV, but just in some easy terms of, if they could provide some of that data for us, that'd be great.
I will ask them. I will tell you, though, that Verizon is the one that approached them.
Okay.
Verizon was going to be their first tenant. Verizon says they have an issue down there, and they wanted to fix the
Maybe
I
I'd be
can
willing
ask.
to share some of that.
So this is a theory that I've developed. A lot of these cell towers are on top of taller buildings, and they just took down a 5-story building across from Krabby Bill's, an old condo that was 4 or 5 stories tall. I'll bet there was a Verizon cell tower, what do you call it, antenna on top of that building. And when that building came down, they lost their thing, and they looked adjacent, and Indian Rocks Beach said, yeah, not here. And so they went over the bridge. Right over the bridge happens to be our nature park, and then they started talking to us. That's probably why we're here. That's just a theory. I don't know that for a fact.
Sounds like a good theory.
But My question, I still have a lot of questions about this. What happens to cell towers when they're obsolete? I would assume that in the document, they'd have to take it down if they're no longer using it. Or I guess they'd take it down because they're paying us $38,000 a year. So they just get out of the lease. But I think that eventually, right now, they're 4 years ago, we were talking about those, what are the towers that they can put anywhere right now? 5G. And you see those on some telephone poles. There's one just on the other side of the Highland Rec, at least I know of. And they're not the same as the old, like at Public Works, like a big cell tower. So I think that they need to come back with, this is what it's going to look like. That's my take. And my theory. I have no proof.
You want to?
Yeah, it is speculation entirely.
Did you make your motion?
No, we're still working on, make a motion. What are we going to do? Just postpone this thing or make a motion to come back with more detail? If it's going to be more detail, you could pass this thing predicated on amending it.
I think we should come back with a postponement. I don't think 4 weeks is going to make or break their bank if we can postpone it for 4 weeks.
I'm not worried about whether it does or not. Either.
Yeah.
So then you want to just have a motion to postpone this predicated upon the further production?
If you could use the word continue, that would be better.
Yeah, we can continue it.
Continue it.
So
Yeah.
let's continue it to the March 5th meeting.
I move to continue ordinance number 2024-08 until, what's the date?
March 5.
March 5, 2024.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Thank you. Next is ordinance number 2024-22.
March 5th.
We'll talk about a cell tower.
Poor Jared's never going to want to do another cell tower.
This item before you is asking for approval of a 5-year lease renewal of a cell tower site on the Public Works Complex. This is the last amendment of the agreement, and I can tell you that the cell tower has not interfered with Public Works operations over 20 years. I'm available to answer any questions.
Ordinance number 2024-22, an ordinance of the City of Largo, Florida, approving pursuant to City Charter Section 2.12A5, a 5-year lease renewal for use of approximately 500 square feet of land located at the city's Public Works facility at 1000 2nd Street Southeast to New Singular Wireless PCS LLC for the continued operation and maintenance of a cellular tower and associated communication transmission equipment, providing an effective date.
Thank you. Do we have any cards on this?
We have no cards.
Any questions from the commission?
I move to approve ordinance number 2024-22 on first reading and schedule a second reading and public hearing on March 5, 2024.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Thank you.
Is that one camouflage, Jared?
No, it's not.
We'll see if we can work on that.
It's camouflaged as an osprey nest.
All right, let me see. Mr. Zimmett, do you have anything this evening?
I don't have anything tonight.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Gerard.
Nothing. I just want to thank everyone for allowing me to attend by Zoom. I didn't want to infect anybody with whatever's going on with me right now, so thank you.
Understood. We appreciate your participation. Next, Commissioner Robinson.
Nothing. Just one thing. I just wanted to thank Coach Pascal for coming out today. He's truly an inspiration to a lot of young kids over at Largo High School and throughout this community. So I really appreciate him coming out and speaking tonight, and hope to see Packers continue their great football tradition. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Holt.
I just would like to echo Commissioner Robinson's words regarding Marcus Pasquale. It was a very heartfelt moment listening to him. He's just a true example of perseverance and pushing forward, and it was awesome to hear him speak tonight. Also, congratulations to our team members. of the quarter and our promotional swearing in for police officers. Welcome to our new police officer, and congratulations on the promotions for the others. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Johnson.
I have nothing, but thank you so much for letting me attend virtually from sort of sunny Fort Lauderdale.
And windy, probably.
It's warmer, though.
Commissioner Holmes.
It is warmer.
Congratulations, Station 41. They had a really great program there last Saturday. Little noisy, but really nice. And secondly, Mr. City Manager, do we have any detail on the groundbreaking for Station 39?
As I sit here today, I don't have any update on that, but I can provide you that information.
Yeah, there's a few people that keep asking us about when are they going to turn that first spade over? That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. I was going to mention the open house. Great. It was perfect weather. I don't know how they do that because it rained the next day. It was a really nice time, and they had a good turnout over there at the Station 41. Also, the Central Park Performing Arts Foundation had a really nice event. So they put together a great event. The staff at the center was great, and I think they raised a lot of money to help kids pay for summer camps and that type of stuff. So really good stuff over there. And of course, Coach being here today is always cool. He does so much good in our community, raising young men. It's good. So yeah, it's good to see Coach here. Mr. Kerr.
Thank you, Mayor. I have nothing to add to the agenda this evening.
Any action items?
No, not outside of the
You already said no. I'm just kidding. No action items. So meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.